to another LinkedIn or YouTube or X, depending on what channel you're watching, live stream for MnSearch. I am your host and MnSearch President, Michelle Stinson-Ross, and joining me today is fellow board member Angi Moore. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Hopefully the rest of the audience is good. Waking up, guys, grab your coffee. It's going to be a good conversation. Angi, as we get started, part of the reason we do these is to help people understand who are the types of people they can meet. What are the kinds of connections that they can make when they attend a MnSearch event, when they attend the summit, that sort of thing. So why don't we start with just like your basic background? Like, what do you do? Who are you? Why are you a cool person to meet? Because you are.
Well, thank you. As are you. Yeah, sure. So I got into the digital marketing industry 5 years ago. And I am currently the Associate Vice President of Marketing at a company called Cassia. It's a senior living company, one of the larger senior living companies here in Minnesota. We have communities all across 5 states. So we are a fairly sizable organization, and I lead a marketing team of 4. I have a content marketing manager, project manager, 2 senior graphic designers, and a digital marketing specialist. And it's fun having the digital marketing specialist because I'm able to share some of those duties with her. But even with my role, I'm still heavily involved in SEM and automated emails. So that's primarily what I'm working in, but I also like to geek out on GTM and GA4 and all that good stuff. So yeah, that's kind of who I am.
So you are also the events director for MnSearch. You are a member of the board. Do you want to tell people a little bit about what you do as events director for MnSearch and what it's like on the board?
Yes. So I'm the events director, and that means that I help coordinate all the logistics for each monthly event. I don't do the programming. Our fabulous programming person does that. But I coordinate the logistics, like venue, drink, any kind of food or beverages. I provide all the details to our marketing team as to, what kind of topics we've agreed upon, and I have all that in one place. And then I get there early, usually help with the setup and make sure I get food ordered and just the logistics part of it. And I have done logistics for big events my whole life. So I was really excited to see this opportunity that I could lend my skills, but also learn from incredible people. So my trajectory, I know that we were going to talk a little bit about my trajectory. The reason that I chose the board is because I attended Summit last year, and it was mind-blowing. The speakers were such high caliber, and the people were so cool that I felt like I needed to get involved to be around these cool people more. So I really, I find such value. The summit, like I said, itself was amazing. But it's been even more fun getting to know all of you at the board. I know I'm still fairly new. I started, I think, in September. And then we even have more new board members coming in. And it's just been such a pleasure working with you all because you're so smart. I feel like every time I get with this group, not only is it fun to hang out with you all, but I learn more things. Another reason why I really enjoy this organization too is because I feel validated. So I work in-house. I'm an in-house in a senior living company, and there's not many other people who understand digital marketing. So when I get around this group of, again, brilliant people, I feel like, yes, I do know what I'm talking about. Because there's just confirmation.
Right.
There's confirmation. Hey, are you having this issue with GA4? Or hey, what about Tag Manager? What about, all of these different, local SEO or anything like that. And I'm like, I know what I'm talking about. And that is validating for me. So that's been super fun.
Well, I've posted the link to the board application. You can see it running here along the bottom, as well as it's in chat for YouTube, it looks like. I'll add it to LinkedIn in a little bit. But Angie actually needs a co-partner, right? You need a partner in crime,
I
Angie.
do. I do. So like we talked about Summit, and with Summit coming up in June, there are a lot of logistics and a lot of details, and I would love to have a partner to share the wealth. Like I said, I've learned a lot, and I think that this huge event is going to be such a great experience for me to be able to be on the background of it. And to watch the success. And so I would love to have a partner to be able to share some of that with. Um, and of course that makes it easier for everybody, so it's just not so overwhelming. So
Right.
Yeah, I would love to have a partner.
So if you're interested specifically in events, there is an open board seat for an events co-director rather than Angie having to do it all. There are several other open seats available on the board. So if you're interested in not only paying back some of what the digital marketing industry has done, but you want to help create events and experiences that lead your fellow marketers to kind of fear missing out on something good, this is your chance to actually help us create, dare I say, life-changing or at least career-changing events. And we really want you. So make sure you check out that link. Applying for the board is super, super easy. We're really, really nice. Not just Minnesota nice, but actually really nice. And we want you to be a part of it. So
just fun to hang out with, just fun to hang out with. So there's not, it's not just work by any stretch of the imagination. It's fun. We get together for our board meeting and we chat over, food, and it's a lot of bonding, and it's just so much fun. We'd love for anybody to join us, and don't feel like it's overwhelming. I thought when I first joined, I thought, uh-oh, this is going to be a big job. But what's really nice about the current board is that everybody jumps in. If, hey, I need assistance with this, or hey, like we have a board member that's going out of the country next week, but we've got an event and they wanted somebody to help support, and people are like, yep, I will help. Mm-hmm. So if you do apply for the board for a big position, whether we need another marketing co-director, we need, there's a lot of different needs that we have. Don't feel like you're on an island, because I was a little worried about it, but no, everybody's willing to jump in, and it's just a super fun organization. So
fantastic. Well, let's talk a little bit about our upcoming event. It's later in April. We're halfway through April already, and our monthly event is definitely coming up quick. Let's talk a little bit about that. So,
yeah. Oh, you go ahead.
Angie, come on with the details. You know them well.
It's super exciting because we're co-hosting actually with the American Marketing Association Minnesota. So not only do we have our cool members, but we also have the cool members of AMA, and some of us are members of both. So it'll be fun to be able to network with new faces, and it's at Arbeiter Brewing Company. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's 4 to 6 next week. And we're really excited because we've got a little bit of structure if you want it. So we've got some table talks. So we're going to have AMA and MnSearch board members facilitating some table talks around Gen AI, around content marketing trends, SEO, local, global marketing with localization. There's just so many different things that we're going to be talking about, but you can also just come and have a beer. So it's not like it's a super structured thing. It's a super fluid round table that we just gonna kind of hang out. And if you want to join a table, great. If you don't, and you just want beer and pizza, that's fine too. So we just love to see more people there. It's going to be fun because it's just another thing. And I'm kind of going to go off on a tangent here because we were talking about networking and how it's impacted your life.
Yeah.
So like I said, I started in the industry 5 years ago. And without professional development, networking, and conferences, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I started as the director of digital marketing, and now I'm the AVP. And it's all because of professional development. I'm always seeking out something new. So like, for instance, the beginning of and this is a shout out, the beginning of my career, I took some courses from Demand Quest. And I think it was Ted Kozlowski. And Steve Slater, who was a former board member, he was there doing the SEO portion. And so I did an SEO class with him, and he did a shout out to MnSearch, and that piqued my interest, but I wasn't super involved right away. But he pretty much said that it was a cool group of people, and he sent out links, and it was just fun to be able to see that. And I've been sort of involved kind of in the background. I've come to a couple of events and things like that before. But it was really Summit that solidified my desire to be on the board and to be a heavily active member. So yeah, and some other things that I've done, I've done I've gotten graduate certificates and, all of these things for professional development, but MnSearch has really made a difference. We had an awesome event last month on GA4, like all the intricacies, and it was a hands-on workshop that you could ask questions. Alan Connect was fabulous. Members can actually access that video on our website. So if you're a member, you can get access to that. And some of these people, and actually my mentor is Jolena Pettis, who used to be on the board as well. So I just feel like this organization has really, really changed the trajectory, of my career. So it's been super fun to be involved.
I'm getting stalked by my cat.
I know. Well, my cat does the same thing. It's all good. That's part of working at home.
It is. And I will say that for me, MnSearch has been that thing that I need to balance work from home with my professional career. So as all of you that work from home know, it can be very isolating. Yes, it's great. I don't have to worry about a commute. I don't necessarily have to worry too much about my dress code unless the camera's on and I have to, whatever.
Yeah.
But it can also be very isolating. You find yourself kind of in this space where I think I know what I'm doing, but I don't really have anybody to discuss. I have to just get the stuff done. And for me, MnSearch has definitely been that group of colleagues that I miss, stepping into a conference room or gathering for lunch with. Now I have it through MnSearch. I can go to an event like we're having later in the month, and as you said, have a beverage, sit down over pizza and talk about what it is I'm working on. What are you working on? How have things changed? Because, oh my gosh, over the last year or two, this industry never really stays the same for very long, but I feel like the past couple of years with GA4 and generative AI, that every once in a while we're like, we need an opportunity to check ourselves. We need an opportunity to go back to the brain trust and go, am I seeing the same things? Am I imagining things, or is this real? Yeah.
Exactly. And well, another part of it that I love is that we all have a Slack. And so if you've got an issue at work, you're like, okay, like for instance, at my company, we're creating an AI policy. So, and the people who are crafting it know nothing about AI. So they're kind of leaning on me a little bit. And then I have questions that I don't have, professionals to ask. So I go into Slack and I'm like, okay, what are you using? Why? What do you think, what do you think of this policy, and get feedback from them? And so that's what I appreciate so much about this group, is not only can you do that with the board, but you can do it with the other members. Yeah. And so, and to your point, Michelle, it's like, do I know what I'm doing? I think I know. Yes. Okay. I'm not crazy seeing this. This is an issue that I'm seeing. And a lot of people are like, yep, me too. Yep, me too. And so it's always like, there's so much camaraderie. And, to your point too, in addition to the events we have those connection points. It can be daily, or it can be whenever you want to check in. So that's why I love the Slack, the member Slack and the board Slack.
So as you said, there are going to be some roundtables for like focused discussion, rather than just sitting down and shooting the breeze with whoever you happen to chat with because you saw them and like, oh, hey, I know you. We actually have some opportunities to discuss some particular topics. And you're actually going to be one of the hosts of the AI table for our April networking event. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so I've been fascinated with AI for a while, and actually, part of the reason why I jumped on board to use it more and to learn more about it was I was told that the marketing department needed to lead the charge. So I said, well, okay, I raised my hand and I will help with this. So I've taken a number of courses, and I'm also getting a certificate in AI for growth. And so I feel like there's going to be some really great conversations to have, things that I've learned that I want to share, but I know I can learn from everybody too. So what I'm really looking forward to is, especially with the Gen AI in marketing, there's so much happening. And it's not just ChatGPT, it's Claude, it's Jasper, it's Copilot, it's, Llama, there's so many different things that we can talk about. And so I'm excited to learn as well. I'm going to be there maybe facilitating, but I'm going to learn just as much.
Sure. We have some other roundtables that are going to be available. I'm going to be sitting at the SEO and content marketing table talking about all things around that. I have been in the content marketing world for a long time. Content's changing. I mean, usually when we talk about content, everybody assumes we're talking about written content on a website. But that's not the case anymore. I mean, what we're doing right now, this live broadcast, is content. What we do when we do podcasts, like branded podcast discussions, that's content. All of that may feed back into your written content. It has really changed over the years and will probably continue to change. And now we're in discussions on the content side of things, like what's considered original content? How much can AI contribute to our content production before it's no longer ours, but it's just part of the general, mind share of the industry that we're in. So,
and the ethics behind it,
right,
too, the ethics behind that piece. Like, are you selling work that's not yours?
Right. Well, and to top it off, obviously, Google has its own generative AI that it's trying to get people to engage with and use. And at the same time, they've already been telling us that as far as, search rankings go, they're not going to index stuff that they feel like is just an iteration. It's AI generated. There's not really anything new or original or helpful in that piece of content. You've just posted it up because it satisfies certain keyword queries. They're really cracking down, despite the fact that they're encouraging us to use generative AI. They're cracking down on how we use it.
Exactly.
So
and yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, even though there is a specific discussion for AI, I have a feeling that AI is going to creep into all of the other discussions as well.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Yeah. I mean, AI is so broad. I mean, it's not, there are, so many different things other than generative AI, which impacts marketers the most. But like I was learning about autonomous vehicles and how that impacts, my industry. Like an autonomous vehicle could potentially impact a senior to be able to stay at home longer because so there's a lot more to AI than just generative AI, but it impacts everything we do in marketing for sure. I mean, it's just, whether it be content, to your point, content is everything, really. It's social, it's video, it's podcast, it's everything. And so it's not just writing anymore.
True. Before we move on topics, I want to take a moment to give a shout out to our sponsors for the April event. So along with co-hosting with the Minnesota AMA, we've had some fantastic sponsors step up and help make this possible. We're providing a drink or two that you don't have to pay for. We're probably going to provide some snacks. It kind of all depends on how many people actually show up on the day. But thanks to sponsors like the National Institute of Social Media, we're going to be able to help people enjoy the event a little bit more. thanks to sponsors like Cluedo for stepping up and helping make the April event possible, and also our friends at Collective Measures.
And it's so fantastic that we have such supportive sponsors, because it helps enhance our experience, our event experience. It helps enhance that, all the more. And, of course, we're a cool group of people, but, the sponsors help us to add to that. Like you said, come for drinks, come for pizza. It's going to be a blast. And so thank you so much to all of our sponsors. It's just been, they really stepped up.
All right. So the final thing I want to talk about, and you have alluded to it a couple of times, is the summit coming up in June.
Yes.
So you've said several times that the summit was really the thing that made an impact. I mean, at this point, technically, you are a senior marketing executive because of your experiences at the summit. I believe that's safe to say.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Like I said, the caliber of speakers at MnSearch Summit are head and shoulders above a lot of different conferences that I've gone to. I also went to the workshop. So last year it was 2 days. This year it's just 1 day, but I went to the workshops, which were the extended periods of time. And I can't speak highly enough about the caliber of the speakers. And it was fun and engaging. And I felt smart. I just felt that much smarter after being at the summit. And you are absolutely correct that it has helped the trajectory of my career, because I've been able to be more articulate and be able to bring a lot of that back to my company immediately. So I was at the speaker, Greg Giffords. I learned so much about SEO. I brought it back immediately. In fact, I was texting my coworkers like, we have to do this and this and this, because Summit just really, really supported everything that I already knew, but also the fantastic, GA4. I know this year we've got sessions on like AI and GA4, and Will Reynolds. That's going to be amazing. What I also love about the summit too is the majority of the speakers are women this year. And so we really feel like we're supporting that community. But yeah, I think Summit was a culmination of a great conference. And I've been to Social Media Marketing World and Smash and all these different conferences, but MnSearch was head and shoulders above anything that I've ever done.
Well, I'm glad you're saying that. It's I mean, she's not saying this because she is a board member. She became a board member because of the summit.
That's exactly right. I wanted to surround myself by these smart people. So I reached out to Carrie, the president, last year, and I said, how do I do this? How do I make this happen? And so it's a really, really simple process if you want to be involved in the board. It's, you fill out the application, there's a brief interview, and I mean, that's pretty much it. And so, yeah, it's been a blast. But absolutely, to your point, Michelle, I became a board member because that summit impacted my life so much that I had to be involved.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to get involved. So.
Well, we appreciate that. And I'm so glad that you are a part of the team now. What can people expect, whether they're attending a monthly event or whether they're attending the summit? We talk a lot about how important networking is and making those connections. Can you kind of help people understand what, number one, is the value there, and what kind of people you've alluded to the caliber of like speakers and things that we get, but even the attendees and taking the time to get to know other people that are attending just like you. Where does the value happen there? What kind of people are you likely, like you, to meet at these events?
So it's such a diverse population that there are people from agencies, people in-house, people, of all walks of life in marketing. They just have a common interest of digital. And I've met, some people who are brilliant in AI, Gen AI. I have met some people who are brilliant in GA4. I have met some people, and And it's just been the caliber of people that are involved are just there's so much conversation to be had that, like, for instance, the last happy hour we had in February at AimClear, who's also one of our monthly sponsors, not this month, but some of the other months, is that there were just such great people, and I didn't want to leave, honestly. And that was, I could have gotten home to my animals and my son and all of that, but I wanted to stay longer because I was talking with like-minded people, and a lot of people have similar goals, but there's also people there that will challenge my thinking. So, and like I said, there's a variety, because it's a lot of people from agencies, but also a lot of people who are from in-house who also need to bounce things off of other people. There are also people who are looking for work. And I know, for instance, one of our board members was referred to her job, and now they're both working at the same company. And so it's not only for just similar brain power, it's networking for jobs, networking for just knowledge.
Right.
In terms of, the monthly events, and it's fun to just kick back and talk, but also at Summit, there are times in between the sessions. So there's tons of sessions, but there's time in between sessions to make those connections, to talk to the speakers, to talk to fellow marketers. And I think that is just a huge important thing. So
it is. And you never know who might be hiring or who might be looking for a consultant or any number of things. As a matter of fact, I got a message just yesterday that a good friend of mine and colleague who's based in New York is looking for, SEOs with at least 6 years of experience to deal with enterprise SEO clients. So I even though I'm not personally hiring, I know of people that are, and they're looking for high-end experience. This isn't just, your noobs in order to, hire cheap, as some places do. No, we are in touch with the places that are actually looking for experienced, nuanced, all that kind of stuff. And so you never know who might know of somebody who's hiring, even if that person isn't necessarily the one hiring. Like most of us, we're so well connected that it's like, yeah, actually, so-and-so is looking for this, or, oh, I know of this client that really isn't a fit for me, but if you're interested, I can put you in touch. Those sorts of things happen all of the time at MnSearch events.
Yeah. And that's actually happened to me too, in that we were looking for, like I said, I'm in-house. So we were looking for a consultant to help with our recruiting team, potentially. And I had a number of people raise their hands and say, either, yes, I could help with this, or I know someone who could help, or like, this may not be a good fit, but here is someone who I'm going to direct you to. So I think that, even more than the educational events, the networking and the connections. But yeah, speaking of educational events, we have 2 more this year. We have one in the fall on data analytics. Dina Tommaso, did I pronounce that right? Yes. She's going to be speaking, and she's fabulous. She was a primary speaker last year at Summit.
She's back to the Summit this year as well.
Yay, she's fabulous. I want to be moderator because I'm just so impressed with her. And then I think in November, we're going to have an extended conversation with AI, speaker TBD. We have someone in mind, but we don't want to publish anything until we know for sure. Right. And then, like I said, the other monthly events are just cool, hang out, kick back. So yeah, just the involvement in the organization has been so much fun. And to your point too, Michelle, I work from home 3 days a week. I'm in the office 2 days a week, and the 2 days a week are fabulous. But MnSearch also is a social outlet for me too, with just different kinds of people. I love my workplace and I love my coworkers, but it's not as much of a kickback social situation.
Sure. Well, Angie, I really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with us and talk about all things MnSearch. Guys, please make sure that you register for the April event. Make sure that you register for the Summit. Angie is going to be at all of them. So if you want to learn more about things that Angie knows. It's like, I had to giggle. She's like, have I actually become a thought leader? Yes, Angie has become a thought leader. And she has a lot of insight and guidance, as well as tons of compelling questions. Sometimes the questions that we ask one another kickstart a train of thought that can really be quite remarkable. So come check out, join us, and definitely take a moment to meet Angie in person at our April networking event at Arbiter Brewery.
Oh, I'd love to see you next Wednesday, 4 to 6.
Thank you so much, Angie.